Hey everybody, what's going on? Your host, LovelyCheesePizza here. I'm waiting for my electric shaver in the bathroom to charge up because it doesn't allow me to use it while it's charging, which is absolute bullshit. And welcome back to Let's Play some more Gran Turismo 3, the ultimate simulator of the driving action in the world, and we're moving along yet again in the Tuscan Challenge, doing a track that I feel like I've done a lot lately, and I don't like it. It's bad enough that I have to do this track anyways because I don't like it, but the fact that I've had to do it a lot in recent races is even more, you know, agony striking because I hate this course. There's just like certain corners that I just don't enjoy. Like there's always, and I'm doing it with such wildly different vehicles every time, and so like having to assess the timing to do it is different every time, and it's bothering me. I just want to not do it for a while. So that's just kind of the course of that. But I mean, we are vastly overpowering the competition this time, so I don't really have to worry about like, oh my god, am I gonna have like one turn where I don't take it very well, and then we end up losing the race because they're gonna totally pull away from me horribly the whole way. Luckily, it's not that, so no big deal there. So, couple things. So, which one do I want to... Actually, we'll start with the more interesting part first. The other part's just a thing that I was thinking about that's kind of bothering me. But, so, yesterday, I totally, quote-unquote, saw a car accident happen right in front of my store. That was an interesting thing. The funny thing is, I didn't actually see it happen, and, like, I'm still trying to figure out how it happened. It was such a weird thing. I'll run this through with you while we're taking this thing down nice and easy. So yesterday I'm working, and Michaela comes to the store because she was gonna bring me my ring. I accidentally forgot it at home, and so she came down to see me, and she brought me my ring. And so I went out in front of the store because she always parks in front of the store, and I was chatting with her for a second, and she was gonna go pick up Haley and Preston from school. And so, you know, we're chatting there for a second, and there was this car that was parked right next to me, and so I was just trying to be mindful and not, you know, be in the way for whenever it was that they wanted to back out, because we thought they were getting ready to do that. And so she's getting ready to back out, and then all of a sudden I looked back and I realized that the car that was next to me was kind of sitting, like, off-center. Like, I'll try to illustrate it as best I can. So our cars are like this. Ours is right here, this one's here, and then back behind it, you know, there's another row of cars back there. And so this car had backed up, and it was kind of like, you know, sitting at like a 45-degree angle. Kind of, you know, like somebody had backed out and they had kind of tried to adjust a little bit, and they were getting ready to pull out and just start driving away. But the car was just sitting there, you know? And so I'm sitting there looking like, what the hell's going on? Like, why is this car just sitting there like that? And I figured, you know, maybe the person was just like sitting on their phone and they weren't paying attention, that there were other people that were trying to leave to go do other things with their life instead of spending the rest of it sitting in a parking space, you know, waiting for the Grim Reaper to come and, you know, waltz their soul down to, you know, the river Styx or whatever. And then all of a sudden I looked in the car and I realized that there's fucking nobody inside the car. And I was just like, there's nobody in that car! What the hell? So, not only that, so then, you know, Michaela and I are like, what the hell's going on? So she gets out of the car and we go walk over to this car, and it literally just backed up into this other car, and there was fucking nobody in there. And the car wasn't even on. So it's like, what the fuck is going on? And so there was another car that had seen it, because I guess the car almost hit them, and so now, you know, they're like on the phone with the cops, like, you know, say, oh my god, there's, you know, this accident happened in the parking lot, and there's like nobody in the car, and they almost hit us, and all this stuff. And so they're, you know, doing the whole police report thing, and saying, you know, you guys need to get down here, which now that I'm a, you know, now that I've been doing all these tests for 911 dispatch stuff, it's like, there ain't gonna be anybody coming out on that one for a while. That's like a priority 4 or 5 call, where like, that's a guy that's like, you know, the only people that are gonna come out to that one are gonna be if somebody's available, or, you know, a guy is gonna, you know, Be like, I'll take that one after I'm done taking my lunch break, you know? And even then, it's like, I'll take the long way over there. It's just, it's a very low priority call, especially if there's no injuries involved. But, so at this point, we're trying to figure out, A, whose car was hit, which, come to find out, it was a guy that worked over at Cricket 2 spots over. But more importantly, whose car was this that just, that just slid backwards in a non-icy environment, no less, and hit this guy? And so I go next door to the post office, and I was like, does there anybody own a cream-colored, a cream-colored Mercury Sable out here? And then out from the shadows comes this old guy, like 75 years old. He's like, yeah, I do. I was like, well, your car just, on its own accord, just backed into another car and hit them. And he's like, are you fucking serious? He told me something. He's like, are you fucking serious? Ah, oh, damn it. He's like, all right, I'll be right back. And so he comes walking out, and he goes and looks over the car. He just goes, oh man. He's like, what even? He's like, I thought I put it in. He's like, I thought I put it in park. And so I was like, I guess not, because And so at this point, now I'm thinking to myself, how the hell did he not know that he didn't put it in park? Like, what did he put it in neutral? But like, anytime I've ever put my car in neutral, my car doesn't roll backwards. It just like doesn't go really anywhere. And so then I'm thinking, if he put his car in reverse, I mean, when you put your car in reverse, I mean, that thing just starts fucking going. Like, that would be the kind of thing where, especially being a guy that's 75 years old, when you try getting out of the car and your car's in reverse, I mean, that thing basically would have, like, drug him under the car and run him over, basically, because, I mean, the car just starts going. So, like, what gear did he put his car in that would have given him enough time to walk inside and not realize that his car was just starting to move backwards on its own? It was weird. And so then he goes and gets in his car, he turns it on, and drives it back in the parking spot, and then just goes back inside. He, like, didn't even, while these other people were on the phone with the police, and getting all this information, he didn't even bother, like, stopping to talk to them for a moment. He just, like, totally, like, avoided the situation and walked right back inside. And so now these other people that are talking with the cops are, like, trying to talk it out, like, like it's this guy's treating it like a hit and run, like he's running away from the scene of the crime. It's like, the dude ain't running. The dude's like 75 years old, man. That dude ain't running away from nothing except for dying. That's the only thing he's running from is his own imminent doom. But it was so weird. And so then they brought the guy whose car it was. They found out who it was, and he came outside and he's looking at his car. I mean, his car wasn't really in that great a shape in the first place. It already had a bunch of dings and stuff on it, but he was looking at it like no big deal. And so then it came down to, well, let's wait for this older couple to come out here so that we can talk to them about it. And they stayed in the post office for, like, dead serious, probably a good extra 25 minutes. And it's like, I don't even know what the fuck they were even doing in there, because there were other customers that walked in during this process while we were waiting for them, and they were able to go in and go out, before these other people had gone. So it just kind of made me think that, the guy's like, I just really don't want to go out there and deal with this. It's like, I know that whatever is going to happen, it's not going to be fun, and I don't really want to have any part of it. And so, whatever. And eventually it came to the point where they're just like, you know what, we're going to go in there and find him, and I'll just talk to him that way, because, we're all on the clock right now. We're all kind of at our respective jobs. We can't just sit here and wait for, 2020 to come around for this guy to come sauntering out the door again. And so he eventually comes walking out the door, and he's like, all right, I'm the culprit. Let's figure this shit out. It's like, okay. It was just funny, and then they ended up spending like another 25 minutes, just him and the old, the old guy and the guy from Cricket, just kind of like looking at the back of the car. I mean, basically like, do we even want to bother with this? Like, the cops didn't even really need to be called at all, because it's really not that big of a deal. I mean, there's no real you know, intensive damage. I mean, literally, the car rolled back at like a couple miles an hour and dinged up the back, like whoop-de-doo. You know, let the insurance, you know, hammer that one out instead of, you know, people getting all butthurt about it. And so, as far as I know, the cops never even showed up because, you know, I would have been a witness for that because I was right there. But the cops never showed up, so I didn't get to give a statement. Damn, you know. But yeah, it was a really weird thing. The whole premise of just the guy gets out of his car and presumably leaves it in reverse, and the car just, mind of its own, starts going back and hits another car, almost takes out another car in the process, and then the guy just kind of like hangs inside and just like refuses to come out for a while. After he goes and gets back in the car and puts it back in the parking spot. That was the funniest part. He's just like, all right, well, that thing's good to go. See you later. It was good. So that was that. That was kind of my point of excitement yesterday. And then there's this other thing. It's just kind of like nagging at me because, like, there's potential for it being awesome, and there's also potential for this to be equally not awesome and a very widespread headache and just bullshit. So this lady, by the way, we're gonna have like a not so much actually superficial version of it, but I'll preemptively call this an Adam's Health Tips, where you learn shit whether you like it or not. Hey, all right, we haven't done one of the fucking bells in a while. So this customer came in, and this particular company that we carry for vitamins, they're running kind of like almost like a Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory kind of thing, where they've on select products that they carry, because their catalog has like 800 products in it. No fucking joke. It's ridiculous. They have so many things. It's out of control. Especially for like a single vendor. Like there's plenty of companies that are part of like manufacturing firms where they handle like 20 or 30 brands, and then you end up having, you know, a whole like thousands of products that way. But for a single manufacturer to have, you know, 600 or 700 products is pretty unheard of. There's only a couple I can think of right off the top of my head that do that, and Source Naturals and Now are two of them. Anywho, but so the Now company, they were doing this thing where they were doing kind of a, you know, Willy Wonka sort of thing, where they were putting gold lids on the top of their products, and it was kind of like a golden ticket sort of thing, where you buy golden lid supplements, and, you know, a certain amount of them had like some sort of golden ticket or some type of message inside the lid that would notify you if you were a winner. And if you were a winner, instead of going to a massive chocolate factory where you get diabetes and turn into Wilford Brimley and die after you do Liberty Medical commercials until you're 95 years old, you'd get like $10,000, and which is fucking awesome. I couldn't even participate in it because I was working at the place where they were purveyed, so it's not even fair. But so yeah, it was like a thing where you could get a nice chunk of money. And so, you know, we'd have people that would buy them every once, you know, they didn't even know what was really going on, so they'd buy them, and they're like, why is a gold lid on this? We're like, well, you can win 10 grand by buying this thing, potentially. And they're like, oh, awesome, cool. I think there was one winner from the state of Oregon so far in this. And it's been going on for a few months. And I think it's like right near the end of it, because we had this lady that called it was like a week ago, and she called us up, and she's like, I want to buy every single gold lid supplement that you have on your shelves in both of your stores. And we're like, are you serious? She's like, yeah. She's like, I know that they're still running that promotional, you know, contest of theirs. And I'm going for the gold here. Hardy. You know, and she's like, I want to see if I can win. And so I want to buy every single gold lid item that you have in your store. And I was like, yes, I will do that. We will, you know, and so we're sitting here pulling together, you know, every supplement, and it's just like a whole bunch of random stuff, you know, which is awesome. I mean, this lady's going to be super healthy now. I mean, we're getting stuff like magnesium, and we're getting polycosanol, which is really good for cholesterol, by the way, for those of you that are wondering, and like resveratrol and CoQ10 and ubiquinol and like trimethylglycine and, you know, vitamin D, vitamin C, B complex, you know, multivitamins, You know, like OptiZinc, which is a more absorbable form of zinc that is less, you know, havoc-inducing on the stomach and doesn't make things taste like metal. Hey! And then, you know, there's things like herbs like graviola, which is a natural cancer treatment herb that's supposed to help boost your killer T-cell activity. And there's, you know, things like kava kava and, you know, passion flower and rhodiola, things for stress relief. And, you know, there's like some probiotic supplements like Saccharomyces boulardii, which is really good for H. pylori and all sorts of crazy shit. And I mean, it comes down to it, this lady's ended up buying like $400 or $500 worth of all these gold-lid supplements, and it's just like, holy shit, man! Like, you're really going all in on this. And so, you know, at face value, this sounds just like a total win for me and a total win for her, because, you know, she's gonna totally, you know, have all these great supplements that she can improve her health in like every phase. You know, have your heart running at better function, and have your stress managed, and be able to absorb your calcium, and have your energy levels up, and, you know, all these things, you know, brain formulas and all this stuff. But then in the back of my mind, I'm also thinking of this, like, she's buying an insanely high amount of supplements just up front in bulk. What happens, you know, what happens if, you know, what happens? So what, I'm like sitting here creating this scenario. So she takes all these home, and she starts just furiously opening them all, looking for the winning bottle, and none of them are winners. Then what happens? Does she just bring them all back? Because technically, in our, you know, with our return policy, you know, you can return items opened or not within 2 weeks, as long as you have the sales receipt. Because, you know, sometimes people find out that they're allergic to something, or, you know, or you already had one at home and didn't realize it, or, you know, you took a couple of them and, you know, you had a weird reaction to it or something, or whatever. And so there's that option to return them as long as you have your sales receipts and it's within the allotted time period. What if this lady buys all this stuff, takes them home, opens it up, none of them are winners, and she immediately wants to just bring them back and get her money back, and now they're all opened, so we can't sell them to anybody. And now we're basically, we just gave away $500 worth of product for virtually nothing. You know, this is now my fear, and it's like, fuck, man, I don't, and that's such a fucking hassle to deal with. We got to call in all the returns to the Now Company and be like, hey, we're returning $500 worth of product to you guys because some asshole lady decided she wanted to go for the contest and didn't win on any of them, so now she brought them all back after opening them all. Yay. So, yeah, I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I got my fingers crossed on it, but, you know, she came in and, well, actually, she had us mail them to her, so now, like, the countdown is on. You know, will we get past that 2-week period before, you know, she comes barging back in at some point, or, you know, calling us up and being like, I want to return all these, I didn't win, blah, 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 and you have to honor it because it's part of your return policy, blah, 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 blah. It's like, you know, I hope you choke on one of those. I hope that polycosanol, you end up choking on it and it makes your blood pressure go so damn high that you just go, I don't know what the is. Either you vomit or you die. You know, I'm not wishing death on anybody, but maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. I'm not. Maybe that you sprain your ankle. You go to put all these things in a bag so you can bring them back to our store, and you trip over a broomstick. I don't know why it'd be on the floor, but you trip over it and you sprain your ankle. Blah, blah, blah. It's not going to kill you. Whatever. But yeah, whatever. So that's just, it's the thing that's been like bothering me for a couple of days, so I thought I'd just get it out there in the open, or whatever. So, with that said, my friends, we took another race down extremely easily, and I think we have 2 races to go in this. So, when we come back on the next installment of Let's Play Gran Turismo 3, the Ultimate Driving Simulator, we will have more races to do and more things to talk about. So, with that, you guys take care, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.